I have a voice. Hear my battle cry. The spotlights blind me, my fears confine me. I'm scared, but I still got to try. Thrown in the fire, kiss my comfort goodbye. I feel the heat on my skin, my head starts to spin. I'm scared, but I still got to try. This is a direct quote from one of my favorite shows called The Ghost and Molly McGee. And it serves a huge point of what I'm talking about today. So, confidence. It's a messy thing, but the important thing is not to force it, I guess, but not to let the darkness, like the nervousness, take over your life. And in the last episode, I talked about some things that were heavy, but also really important. I talked about changing my life and turning things around and how anyone should do it. That doesn't mean they will, but they should and they can. It's not always a matter of can or should. It's a matter of will they. Because the truth is, we were given free will and we can do whatever with our lives as long as we have the means to, and the inspiration to, and the way that we set our intentions early on. So, I know I'm making a recording right now, so it may come as a surprise, but I'm a fearful person. I care what everyone thinks, and I know other people do too. I have social anxiety. I shake right now thinking about it, but I'm not gonna let that stop me anymore. I'm not gonna let that take over my life anymore. For the longest time, I would tell myself it's just, and this is true, actually, I'm not denying the truth of it, but it's a reaction thing whenever I silence in a social learning situation. Whenever I feel the need to crawl back in my shell, to care what people think and feel like I'm under the spotlight, being pointed at even when there's nothing there. There's just eyes and on you, following you wherever you go. It's overwhelming, but like Libby said in The Ghost Molly McGee, that was a weird way of saying that, Molly McGee. Molly McGee. But like Libby said, I have a voice. We all have a voice. And I'm ready to use it. I'm ready to start speaking up whenever I start to feel this shame. Whenever I start to feel like the world is caving in on me. There's nothing left to hide. I feel passion. I feel like there's no time like now to stop pushing that passion down like it's a bad thing. There's a difference between anger, righteous anger, and just what's the word? Unconstituted, I guess, just undirected rage. Undirected rage is destructive. It hurts. It kills. It causes wars. It does things to the world that nobody likes or should like, at least. Anger is just a feeling that it's about passion and fury and fire, and it's about, you know, a lot of times it's about defense, you know? I don't think anyone has ever been angry about something, usually, without having something to defend. Whether it's themselves, their voice, their pain, someone else they love. But that's where righteous anger comes in, because sometimes anger is right. Sometimes we need to be angry in a healthy way. And I'm realizing that being a fawn in this world and just laying down and be like, oh, caring what everyone thinks too much, being like overly hypersensitive about myself, that's not self-awareness. That's picking and prodding at yourself until you're nothing. Because sometimes I feel like nothing. But I'm not. I have a voice. And, that's very true. And, last episode I said that I talked about some things. But there's a reason why I'm doing this. I record my own experiences, not for me, not for everyone else, not for the world, not for gain, not for ridiculing, not for taking, for taking seriously if you want to, but I make it just for all of the above, Take what you will with this information. Laugh, cry, think, observe your own life. But whatever you do, don't make the same mistake that I did of just letting your humanity just die away in favor for the inner critic, the inner voices that tell you that being nothing is better than being something because that something is wrong. It's right. And this episode is actually pretty repetitive, but this isn't just about me. I keep saying I, but we, as a collective, group of humans, of beings, of a species, I think I used to think that copping out of your own life was cowardice. And a lot of times it's not, It's a lot of times it's a coping mechanism. It's a survival technique to just be like, I'm not here anymore, so no one can look at me. I'm just making myself as small as possible where no one can come into my bubble and hurt. That's just the cats. Would you be quiet in the litter box, please? Yeah, right. I'll try to get a quieter space soon. But where was I? Oh yeah. And a lot of times it is a survival technique. But sometimes I'm starting to realize that this isn't serving me anymore. I don't want to filter everything I do so heavily. And I will have a filter. Everyone should watch what they say about things, and people, but you know, um over-filtered water or an over-filtered juice isn't juice. It's just water. It doesn't have any flavor, you know? An over-filtered person isn't a person. I mean, they are, but they're a person who lost their touch with, but they're still important, You're still important. I'm still important, you know? And sometimes it's like I think that there's this thing following me where it's like a curse, But now that I'm saying it out loud in this recording, it's like a curse. Really? Like, I'm not like making fun of myself for having these feelings or anyone else who does. But it's kind of ridiculous, not in a demeaning way, but it's like how broken or like traumatized or like alone do you have to be to convince yourself that you're cursed? That there is just this supernatural, extraterrestrial, whatever, like source and bound to you that makes you inherently bad. What do people have to tell you for that to happen? Honestly, I don't remember what happened, and I know that's a thing that happens to many people, but I have a voice. I have a voice, and I'm tired of pretending like this thing is real. It's real to me. It is a very real problem, but it does not define me. It doesn't define who you are. If you're a good person and you're a good person, that sentence didn't make much sense, did it? Well, if you are trying your very best and like, then don't leave it at that, Over criticism, over filtration, or whatever I'm talking about, it doesn't improve you. It's just a lie that you believe, I believed it for the longest time. I believed that just minimizing myself as a person makes me a better person. How does that even make sense? It's like I'm saying it out loud and I'm like, I mean, it's a very real feeling, but, throughout this journey of life, that's just the cat playing with her toy. You can play with it, good job. Yes, you're playing, keep on playing. Yes! Okay, got caught up with cat, baby talk, whatever, but yes, just don't claw up the couch, that's all. Good. So, anyways, that's what the background noise is. The but this is like the part 2 of Turning My Life Around episode, the last one. But it's less about the part of turning your life around where it's like how do I put this? Less about outwardly and more about inwardly. It's more about taking the things inside and having a voice. That's the whole theme of this. You just sometimes you just need to take life at face value. Don't your expectations don't need to be super duper 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 high, but don't sell yourself short, man. Like, we're all canvases, man. We're all canvases, and we all need to pick up the paintbrush and make something beautiful out of our lives. I'm tired of acting like minimizing yourself, like not exist, pretending like you don't exist. Is this saving grace for everything and everyone? It's not. Just because you didn't do anything bad, that doesn't mean you did something good. But it doesn't make you bad either. It just makes you not like. Sometimes you just need to see your own potential and rise up, Like, I know that's hard. It is hard. Especially when you believe that when you rise up, you'll do it completely wrong. But what is worse? Wasting the life that you've been given and just throwing it away by, not doing anything, sitting on the couch. That's what I do sometimes. I shouldn't be admitting that, but not anymore. I'm taking initiative. I'm taking life into my own hands. And I'm taking my voice and I am making the world into something, because the world is your oyster. And you will hear that a lot in your life. And it's kind of an old quote, but you'll hear stuff like that. Like, make the world your world, like make it what you want it to be. And, like it's your life is in your hands. But, I get it. Sometimes it's like you don't really care if you're taking your life into your own hands, because it doesn't feel like your own life. It just feels like it kind of just feels like you're be quiet. Come on, be quiet a little bit. Man, don't you wish pets understood English? Wait, it actually is kind of quiet. That's spooky. Oh my gosh. Did he understand me just now? I think he did. Good boy, Songy. I'm trying to record. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you. I appreciate it, sweetie boy. But, Well, they don't normally listen. Oh, there it goes again. Can you be quiet, please, baby? Yeah, they don't normally listen that well, but they probably think I'm like talking. I don't know what they think. I'm not a cat, but I don't know. Like, what do they think when I record myself like this? Because he just outright stopped when I like said it was weird. Like what? Did you seriously? Anyways, back to the topic. That was weird. The topic. Weird way to say it. Like the topic. The topic. The topic. Yeah, but you know, uh, it's like sometimes you don't feel like it's your own life to have a right over, and that's because maybe you've been told, or I've been told my whole life by me, and I guess just like mean people out there that I don't that sometimes you just don't. I mean, no one ever really told me that um that I shouldn't be doing things with my life because I'm just problematic. But for some reason, it was that sentiment was very convincing for some reason, you know. But I want to take it, and I want to, you know, I think that's why I'm an artist. I think that's why we have tools as humans. I mean, no shit, Sherlock. We have it to express ourselves, that's part of it. But no, really, like, it's more than just scribbling, and it's even more than expression itself. You know, it's about taking life by the reins, like I just said, and making a statement, you know? When the Mona Lisa was painted, I don't think that who was it, Leonardo da Vinci? I really need to learn art history. My gosh. Jeez. Oh, that's bad. I need to learn history. Oh well. But I'm pretty sure it was Leonardo though. Like 97% certain, but when he painted that, I don't believe he was thinking. It could be a two-way street. You could either be just painting for fun, and you don't think it's anything revolutionary, but then it becomes something wondrous. But sometimes you make something, and it becomes so. Yeah, it becomes so real and close to home. It becomes so like a mirror to our own world in a way. It becomes so you know and there are pieces of art that are problematic, but we are not going to talk about that. We're talking about the pieces that have a voice, the pieces that of life that you put together, and the pieces of art that you put together to 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 make. Yeah, that was a dramatic pause. This doesn't really have a script, so I'm kind of playing it off as like dramatic pause, but don't tell anyone. I told you that. It's just a dramatic pause. Anyways, I keep getting distracted, but yeah, we all have our need to shy away. And we all, and some of us really don't. Like, have you ever seen people that are just so unfiltered that they, like, do the most unhinged bullshit online and, like, everything? It's cringy. It's cringy, you know? Like, that being a teacher, for example. Oh, but, or just, you know, any kind of, like, cringe, problematic person. But there's a two-way to this. And, you know, there's being a problematic, uh, lolcow, you know? There's being, you know, a genuine threat. Don't do that. And there's cutting yourself short of what you could do. You know? If you're on that side of the spectrum, not the crazy yada 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 spectrum, but the kind that holds you back. There's no need for that, you know? But yeah, that's it. Just you have a voice.